The quiet weapon the 1% uses to win. We are addicted to the 24-hour result. We want the money tomorrow, the body next week, and fluent English by Friday. This impatience is destroying your potential. Maybe you feel like you're running out of time. You open your phone and see a 20-year-old millionaire. You see someone who learned a new language in 30 days. Suddenly, you feel behind. You feel like you are failing because you aren't there yet. So, what do? You try a quick hack. You buy a new fast course. You study for 5 hours in one day, hoping for a miracle. But 3 days later, you stop. You quit because it didn't work fast enough. You are a victim of impatience. But there is a different way to live. There is a strategy used by the most successful people on earth. It is not a secret trick or a hidden shortcut. In fact, most people think this strategy is boring. Today, we are studying the life and mindset of Warren Buffett. He is one of the wealthiest people in history, but he didn't get there overnight. He mastered a quiet, brutal power called long-term patience. He understood something that most English learners forget. Great things take time to grow. In this video, we are going to change how you look at your progress. We are going to stop the panic and start the growth. Because before we can build your future, we must understand why your brain is fighting against you. Chapter 1. The Dopamine Economy. Your brain is being programmed to fail before you even begin. Think about your phone for a moment. Every time you scroll, you get a small hit of pleasure. You see a funny video. You see a like on your photo. You see a beautiful life in a 15-second clip. This is the dopamine economy. Dopamine is a chemical in your brain. It makes you feel good. But in 2026, we are getting too much of it, too fast. We press a button, and food arrives at the door. We swipe a screen, and we see a new world. We are becoming experts at the now, but we are losing the ability to wait for the great. This is why studying English feels so hard. When you sit down to learn a new grammar rule, your brain asks a question. It asks, where is my reward? Where is my dopamine? When you don't feel fluent after 1 hour, your brain gets bored. It gets frustrated. It wants the fast result it gets from social media. This is a trap. Social media destroyed our ability to wait for success. It taught us that if something doesn't happen in 30 seconds, it isn't working. But listen closely. Real life does not have a fast-forward button. Your brain is a muscle, not a computer. It cannot download a new language in a weekend. When you see those fluent in 7 days videos, your brain wants to believe them. You think, maybe I am just slow. No, you are not slow. You are just living in a world that hates waiting. Warren Buffett once said something very powerful. He said that you cannot produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. Some things simply take time. No matter how much talent or effort you have, you must wait. You must realize that your frustration is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of the dopamine economy trying to pull you back. If you want to win like the 1%, you have to be okay with being bored. You have to be okay with the silence of the long game. Because while everyone else is chasing the next fast hit of dopamine, the winners are quietly building something that lasts. So, how do we stop chasing the clock? First, we need to look at the math. We need to see how much of the overnight success we see is actually a lie. Later in this video, I will show you a simple habit that turns your boredom into power. But first, let's look at the numbers. Most people think Buffett got rich because he was a genius. But the truth is much more shocking. It is a math problem that most people ignore. Chapter 2. The Mathematics of Greatness. Most people believe Warren Buffett's wealth is a miracle of intelligence. It isn't. It is a miracle of time. Let's look at the numbers. They are truly shocking. Warren Buffett began investing when he was just 11 years old. By the time he was 30, he had a net worth of $1 million. That sounds like a lot, right? But here is the secret. Over 90% of Warren Buffett's wealth came after his 65th birthday. Read that again. 90%. If he had retired at age 60 like a normal person, the world would probably not know his name. He would be just another rich man. But he didn't stop. He let the math do the work. In the world of money, we call this compound interest. In the world of life, we call it the long game. Most people quit right before the big jump happens. Imagine a graph. For a long time, the line is flat. It looks like nothing is changing. You are studying English. You are working hard. But the line stays low. Then, suddenly, the line shoots up like a rocket. That is the power of staying in the game. Wait, I want to stop here for a moment. If you are 25 years old, or 30, or even 40, you haven't even started yet. Stop acting like you're out of time. Stop looking at the clock and saying, I should be fluent by now. You are not late. You are just in the flat part of the graph. The biggest mistake you can make is to quit because you don't see the rocket yet. Maybe you feel this way. You look at your English level today and you feel tired. You think, I've been doing this for 2 years and I still make mistakes. Think about that for a moment. 2 years is nothing compared to a lifetime of mastery. Warren Buffett didn't become a billionaire in 2 years. He became a billionaire because he was willing to wait 50 years. Are you willing to wait for your greatness? Fluency is not a destination you reach by running fast. It is a result of staying on the path longer than everyone else. While others are jumping from one fast method to another, you must be the person who stays. The math of greatness is simple. Small effort plus a very long time equals an impossible result. But there is a catch. To stay in the game this long, you cannot eat what everyone else eats. I'm not talking about food. Later, I'll show you how to protect your mind from the fast news trap. Because if you want to think like a winner, you must change your diet. So we know the math works. But how do we feed our brain so we don't get distracted? The answer is found in what Warren Buffett does for 8 hours every single day. Chapter 3. The Information Diet. What you consume today determines who you become in 10 years. Most people wake up and immediately check their phone. They read the news. They check social media. They look at trending topics that will be forgotten by tomorrow morning. This is junk food for your brain. Warren Buffett does something very different. He spends about 80% of his day reading. But he isn't reading Twitter. He isn't reading celebrity gossip. He reads deeply. He reads books, financial reports, and history. He looks for information that has a long shelf life. Think about that for a second. Information is like food. If you eat candy, you get a fast burst of energy, then you crash. If you eat fast information, your brain feels busy, but you aren't actually growing. As an English learner, you must choose your information diet carefully. Are you spending your time watching slang videos that change every month? Or are you listening to powerful stories and timeless lessons? There is a strange reaction in the brain when we focus on deep content. When you listen to a long story in English, your brain stops translating word for word. It starts to live in the language. But if you only watch 10-second clips, your brain never has the chance to settle down. It stays in panic mode. You must learn to consume content that matters for decades, not days. If you read a book about psychology in English, you are learning two things at once. You are learning the language, and you are learning a life lesson. This is what Buffett calls building a library of the mind. Every book you read, every long podcast you finish is a brick in your foundation. Most people are building their English on sand. They want the cool phrases. They want the shortcuts. But when the wind blows, when they have to speak in a real meeting, their foundation disappears. Maybe you know this moment. You try to speak, and your mind goes blank. You feel like you have no substance. That is because your diet has been too thin. You have been feeding your brain snacks instead of meals. It is time to change what you consume. Stop chasing the news of the day. Start chasing the wisdom of the ages. If you spend 30 minutes reading something difficult but valuable, you are winning. Even if you don't understand every word, you are training your brain to handle the weight of real English. So, we have the math and we have the diet. But how does this actually look in your daily life? How do we turn a small habit into a massive explosion of success? Chapter 4. Compound Language Learning. Most learners stop just before the explosion. You have heard of compound interest in money. But have you heard of compound interest in your brain? When you study English, you think you are just learning words. You think, today I learned 5 words. Tomorrow I will learn 5 more. You think the progress is a straight line. But language does not work that way. Every new word you learn connects to a word you already know. Every grammar rule you understand makes the next one easier to see. It is a web. And as the web grows, it grows faster and faster. But here is the problem. Most people want the big explosion in the first month. They study for 3 hours on Monday, 2 hours on Tuesday, and then they get tired. They stop for a week, they break the chain. Let's look at a mini example. Let's do the math. Imagine you study English for just 15 minutes every single day. Just 15 minutes. Most people think, 15 minutes? That's nothing. That won't change my life. They are wrong. 15 minutes a day for 1 year is over 90 hours of deep focus. 90 hours. In 90 hours, you can listen to 20 full audiobooks. You can have 90 deep conversations. You can transform your ear to hear the music of the language. But the magic isn't in the 90 hours. The magic is in the everyday part. When you do it every day, your brain never has to restart. You don't spend 10 minutes remembering what you did last week. You just build. Maybe this has happened to you. You study hard for a month, then life gets busy. You stop for 2 weeks. When you come back, you feel like you lost everything. You feel like you are starting from zero again. This is the most painful feeling for a learner. It makes you want to quit forever. But listen to me. You are not bad at English. You are just fighting the law of compounding. Warren Buffett didn't become rich by making $1 million one day and losing it the next. He kept his money in the market. He let it stay. You must keep your brain in the language. Even if you are tired, even if you only have 10 minutes, do not break the chain. 15 minutes of English daily explodes over 3 years. It becomes a power that no one can take away from you. Later in this video, I will show you a 3-year vision planner. It is a tool to help you see the explosion before it happens. It will help you stay calm when the results feel slow. But to use it, you must learn to do something very difficult. You must learn to say no to the things that look like success, but are actually distractions. So, we have the habit. We have the daily 15 minutes. But how do we protect that time? How do we stop the world from stealing our focus? Chapter 5. Saying No to the Noise. The difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. This is one of Warren Buffett's most famous lessons. Every day, thousands of people want his time. Thousands of companies want his money. New trends appear every week. Buy this, invest in that. This is the new future. But Buffett stays in his office. He stays with his books. He ignores the noise. Why? Because he knows that his success comes from his core strategy. He doesn't need 1,000 ideas. He only needs a few great ones that he follows for 50 years. As an English learner, you are surrounded by noise. Every time you go online, you see a new miracle method. One person says, "Don't study grammar." Another says, "Memorize 3,000 words." A third says, "Watch movies with no subtitles." You feel confused. You feel like you are missing out on a secret. So you switch. You leave your current plan and try the new one. Then, 2 weeks later, you see another video and you switch again. Maybe you know this feeling. You have 5 different English apps on your phone. You have 3 half-finished notebooks. You have 10 saved videos that you never watched. This is not learning. This is collecting. You are chasing shiny objects because you are afraid of the quiet work. You are afraid that your simple plan is too slow. But listen to the wisdom of the 1%. The shiny new trend is usually a distraction. The core strategy for English has never changed. Listen, speak, read, write, repeat. You don't need a new app. You need the discipline to say no to the noise. Say no to the fast results promises. Say no to the magic shortcuts. Say no to the fear that you are doing it wrong. There is a simple test Buffett uses to decide what to do. He makes a list of 25 goals. Then, he circles the top 5. He calls these his avoid at all cost list. Everything that is not in his top 5 is a danger. Why? Because those goals are interesting enough to distract him from the goals that actually matter. What are your top English goals? If you want to speak confidently at work, why are you spending 2 hours learning slang from a TV show? That is noise. Focus on the path that leads to your transformation. Stick to your core strategy even when it feels boring, especially when it feels boring, because boring is where the compounding happens. So, how do we put all of this together? How do we build a system that keeps us on the path for 3, 5, or 10 years? It's time to look at the long game system. Chapter 6. The long game system. Success is not a sprint. It is a system designed to outlast your own impatience. Most people fail because they rely on motivation. Motivation is like a lightning bolt. It is bright and powerful, but it disappears in a second. You cannot build a life on lightning. You need a power plant. You need a system. Warren Buffett doesn't wake up every day and ask himself, "Do I feel like being a great investor today?" He has a system. He reads. He talks to people he trusts. He thinks. He repeats. To master English, you need the long game system. This system is designed to keep you moving when the newness of learning wears off. It is built on 3 pillars: consistency, depth, and the 3-year vision. This is why I want to give you something practical: the 3-year Compounding Vision Planner. You can find the link to download it in the description. This planner is not about what you will do tomorrow. It is about what your life will look like in 1,000 days. On the first page, I want you to write down your day 1,000 reality. Don't write, "I want to be better." Write, "I am sitting in a boardroom in London, leading a meeting without a single moment of fear." The planner helps you work backward. It takes that big dream and breaks it down into your daily 15. Those 15 minutes we talked about earlier, that is your only job. If you do your 15 minutes, you check the box. You don't judge your progress. You don't ask if you are fluent yet. You just check the box. I have a challenge for you today. Stop measuring your progress by what you learned today. Start measuring your progress by how many days in a row you didn't quit. If you can go 30 days without breaking the chain, you have already won. You have done something that 90% of learners cannot do. You have moved from the dopamine economy into the compounding economy. Think about your future self 3 years from now. That person is standing there, speaking English with total ease. They are confident. They are respected. That person is looking back at you right now in this moment. They are whispering, "Please, don't stop. The silence is worth it. The boring days are worth it." You are not just studying a language. You are building a version of yourself that can go anywhere and talk to anyone. The long game system is the only way to get there. But there is one final thing you must understand. It is the hardest part of the journey. It is the moment when most people turn back and go home. The hardest part of the long game is the middle. In the beginning, you are excited. You have new books, new goals, and a lot of energy. But eventually, the newness disappears. You are in the middle of the ocean. You can no longer see the shore you left, and you cannot yet see the land ahead. Everything is quiet. It feels like nothing is happening. This is where most people quit. They think they are standing still, so they jump out of the boat. But listen to me. This quiet moment is exactly where the compounding is doing its secret work. This is where your brain is reorganizing. This is where your tongue is getting used to new shapes. Warren Buffett spent years in that quiet space. He watched others get rich quickly in bubbles and trends. He looked like he was losing. He looked like he was being left behind. But he didn't move. He trusted the math. He trusted the system. You must trust your system too. You are not stuck at an intermediate level. You are simply in the quiet stretch of the long game. Do not let a bad day convince you that you have a bad life. Do not let a forgotten word convince you that you have a bad memory. You are a builder, and builders do not stop when it rains. They keep laying one brick at a time. 3 years from now, people will see your fluency and say, "You're so lucky. You're a natural." Only you will know the truth. You will know it wasn't luck. It was the 15 minutes you spent when you were tired. It was the books you read when others were scrolling. It was the quiet, brutal power of patience. If you are ready to stop chasing shortcuts and start playing the long game, I want to welcome you to our community. Subscribe to Study English TV to build your long-term success alongside us. We don't do quick hacks here. We do deep growth. I want you to make a commitment right now. Go to the comments and write, "I will play the long game." By writing it, you are telling your brain that the clock no longer scares you. And don't forget to download your 3-year Compounding Vision Planner in the description below. Use it to map out your journey to mastery. The 1% win because they refuse to quit when things get boring. Stay on the path. Keep building. And I will see you in the next lesson.